Oh my gosh, savage. He had her served in court, in the courtroom? Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Savage
Dude, you did the right.
surprise. Ex-wife served divorce papers at work. I should have never married my ex-wife from the very beginning. She lied to me. Now, many of you probably are automatically thinking she lied about being married or in a relationship or anything like that. No, but the fact is that she lied. So when I first met my ex-wife, she told me that she was a lawyer. I was very impressed, but then it turned out she only wanted to impress me, and in all actuality, she was a paralegal. Had been our entire marriage, too. I don't know why she felt the need to lie. I thought it was weird at first, talking about she wanted to impress me, but I never gave off anything saying that I only dated women who worked as lawyers or doctors or anything like that. I went to trade school. Not that I'm downing trade school. I make very good money as a plumber, but I don't understand why she felt the need to do that. But that was earlier in our relationship. Back when we were dating, she confessed to me after I asked a question. She would always tell me about the cases that she was fighting, telling me research she had to do and everything. Now it didn't cross my mind that she was a paralegal because, well, my older sister is an attorney. I know all about their profession, and I know that my older sister has paralegals do a lot of the research and things like that, but I ended up asking her something. She couldn't answer the question. She confesses that honestly, she's just a paralegal. This was like our fourth date, I believe. So honestly, I was a bit upset that she had lied to me because she would go into great detail about the cases and everything. But it makes sense that she had detail on cases because, well, she was a paralegal. She truly was doing all of the research. So she knew all about these cases, and sometimes she would be in court. Actually, a lot of times she would be in court, but she wasn't the attorney. She apologized to me, and it was an awkward 30 plus days after that fourth date. We hadn't slept together. We had only been on dinner dates and one picnic date, but I felt a little weird about it, but I wish I would have stuck to my gut feeling. I wish I would have moved on and not giving her a chance, but her consistent pursuit of me sort of won me over. I found it cute. I also found it flattering that she felt the need to impress me. I wish I wasn't thinking like that back then. That was so long ago, but I was a little flattered by the fact that she really liked me and wanted to impress me so much that she'd go as far as lying about her career. But honestly, guys, a lie is a lie. Someone who just flat out lies like that, that's a bad sign. That is a huge red flag. And I stupidly let her get away with it. So, after a brief split, going from talking on the phone pretty much every day to just simple texts here and there, she could tell that I'd lost interest, but she fought really hard to gain that interest back. After about 30 plus days, we went out again. This time we went to a movie. The Lego movie. I'm still not sure why we went to see that movie. I don't remember who chose it. I don't remember choosing it, and she didn't remember choosing it. All I do know is we sat and talked through the whole movie. It was pretty early, so not a lot of people was in the theater, but we just didn't pay attention to it. But we were just laughing and joking and talking about a lot of other things, and we sat through the whole movie having a conversation and eating popcorn. My ex did apologize a few times actually before we even went out. And during us hanging out, and by the way, she paid for the date. She said she doesn't want to lose such a great thing over such a dumb mistake that she made. She needs to be confident in her career because she's great at it, and there's no need to be ashamed. I told her absolutely, there's nothing wrong with a paralegal. I don't care if you were a store clerk. If this is something you want to do, then that's fine. After that date, actually, we talked about being monogamous and exclusive, and that's what we did. We were monogamous and exclusively dating each other for a total of 3 years. 2017 going on 2018 during New Year's Eve. My ex-wife was asking me, could I see myself marrying her? We had a romantic night. We were at a rooftop restaurant, watching fireworks, and after having dinner and drinks, it was just so romantic. When the ball dropped and fireworks going off, she just looked at me and said, "Can you see yourself marrying me?" Will I make a great wife? I told her absolutely. I 100% will marry you and want to marry you. I want children with you. I remember she cried and she told me she loved me so much and I'm the best thing that ever happened to her. Right then and there, I realized I truly loved her. I really did. And I don't know if she really was in love with me or she was just saying that to get a ring. I like to believe that she did fall in love with me and really meant what she was saying, but somehow, for some reason, she fell out of love. I don't know, I can't pinpoint it. All I know is when I found out she was betraying me, I acted quickly and I got out of the situation. So, we were married for a little over 6.5 years. We went through so much together. The pandemic, oh my gosh, that was such a wild time. Both of our jobs were affected. I got laid off from the plumbing company I was working for, but it was also a blessing because this forced me to start my own company. I was collecting unemployment, and it was just no way I could survive on that money. I mean, I could, but it was bad. And my ex-wife, she was completely let go for only 4 months. But we were afraid we didn't know what was going on. But unlike a lot of other couples, it actually brought us closer together. We both tried to figure out ways to start a business. My ex-wife actually started a company online where she was doing paralegal work for different firms. It wasn't paying her as much as she was getting paid before, but it was pretty close. And it was working out pretty well because she was working from home. Why her firm let her go during this time? It's because she wanted to work from home. They wanted her in the office at that time. My ex-wife was really terrified. I mean, heck, we all were. I was a little afraid myself. Everyone wearing masks and seeing people fall out on the news. It was a crazy time. So they ended up letting her go because she didn't want to come in and work, but she could do everything from our computer. So she started consulting for other firms and she was doing pretty good, but at the same time, she was collecting unemployment, being a little greedy. She was forced to pay back that money. It wasn't much, but she wasn't happy. I was just collecting unemployment until I got my first plumbing gig on my own. I remember creating my LLC through the state website, paying fees, and doing everything I have to do. And I got my first job consulting with a firm locally in my city, so I decided to let unemployment know that I was working for myself and I no longer needed it. I knew it was risky. I didn't want to take the chance of getting in trouble. My wife swore to me that she could get away with what she was doing because we actually pay into our unemployment. They actually garnished her checks after she began working again. Things started to pick up and we made the decision to always cook at home. A lot of people were ordering out in our city, so in our town, there was a delivery company. And I feel like this was before a DoorDash or anything like that. Well, at least before they got popular, and this was around the pandemic. Maybe DoorDash was around. I don't know, but I hadn't heard of it. I've always known about this small delivery company in my town, but they had to have gotten an idea from somewhere, right? Anyway, we grew close together, and I thought our marriage was great. We had postponed trying to have a child because of the climate in the world. So we went on, things were great, my career took off, owning my own company. I stayed busy a lot. I worked long hours. When I started to hire people, that's when things got a little easier for me. My ex-wife ended up at another firm, and this is when crap hit the fan. So, my ex-wife started working at that firm in 2022. She was excited to be back in a firm. Actually, her company online was just kind of failing and she wasn't getting any jobs, but she would always brag about a certain lawyer, and she loved when she got to work with him. Of course, this was a red flag. Anytime your wife or girlfriend is bragging about another man at work, she's either sleeping with him or she wants to sleep with him. She just thought this guy was amazing. Of course, I started going through her phone. This is the text I found in there with her girlfriend. I'll skip to the important part of text. Friend, girl. This. So is he married? Even if he is, you know those big time lawyers have side chicks. You can be one? Live your best life. Ex-wife. Bish. Yes, I would be his side piece. F his marriage. He's a sharp-dressed, confident man in his mid-30s, too. With a chiseled jawline, piercing blue eyes, and neatly styled dark hair that never seems out of place, girl. His tailored suits fit perfectly. He looks so powerful and sophisticated. In the courtroom, he's a force to be reckoned with, articulate, quick-witted, and always 3 steps ahead of his opponents. Friend, what about your husband? Girl, we acting like you aren't married. Ex-wife. You're right. Can a bitch fantasize, please? That was enough to set me over the edge. The fact that she was fantasizing about this man she thought was powerful. Basically, her boss, this guy wasn't partner at the firm, but he pretty much told her what to do. He needed something for his case. She needed to do it. He was over her, basically. So, I confronted my ex-wife right then and there. I asked her, so this guy lawyer you talk about all the time, and that you're flattered to get to work with often, and you're pretty much his personal paralegal. I reminded her how she brags about the other girls having to work with the other bad lawyers. Anyway, I saw messages of you talking about him on your phone with your friend. I don't like how you were describing him and how you felt about him. She immediately starts telling me that I'm invading her privacy by going through her phone, also saying that was a lawsuit. I said, are you freaking kidding me? You're going to sue your husband for looking in your phone. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I said, I pay that cell phone bill. I will go through it as much as possible. In fact, you know what? I'll just go through the transcripts. Don't worry about it. I don't need to go through your phone. She ran to me and said, please don't do that. No, it's not what you think. I'm sorry, and that was just me and my friend having some conversations and just being silly. I'll never cheat on you. I love you. I'm sorry, do you forgive me? I grabbed my jacket and my keys and I left. I went straight to Verizon. When I went to the store, they helped me out. They told me how to do it online. Basically, I did it there at the store on my phone. I got everything. My ex-wife was cheating on me with the lawyer she was working for. This was late 2023, by the way. Saying I was pissed is an understatement. I went straight home and I confronted her with the information, showing her on my phone. I had it in PDF form. This woman is denying everything. You're misconstruing what that meant. That didn't mean we actually went to a hotel room to make love. I said, oh, really? Please explain. This woman told me. Her and this lawyer needed to act out a scene to help with their case. They were to get a hotel room. Mind you, I read every bit of the text message. He definitely wanted to meet her to have sex with her. But she's explaining it, saying, we were going to get a hotel room just to act out a scene to make a case for what we were working on. He needed to play out the scenario in court. Mind you also, guys, when I met my wife, she was lying. Remember? This is what I'm saying. I should have taken that in the beginning as her being a habitual liar, telling me she was a lawyer. I should have taken that and realized it was a huge red flag because here she is, again, lying to my face. I see that they had been bumping uglies. It's clear as day in the text messages. My wife can't find out about this. And she's caught me before. And if she catches me again, I'm over. I don't want to hurt your husband's feelings either. All type of crap. I told her we were done and we're getting a divorce. My ex-wife begged me not to divorce her and said she loved me. And it's not what I think. She told me to please reconsider. She'll move out and stay with her sister, but she has a big case that she's working on, and she can't lose focus. She begged me. I just went silent mode on her. I let her pack her things, then she left. I'd already made up my mind. I talked to my sister, and I went and saw a lawyer the next day, while my ex-wife was apparently staying with her sister. I was working with my lawyer, and my lawyer was getting divorce papers drawn up. I told my lawyer I did not want my ex-wife to get alimony out of me. I didn't make a significant amount more than her, but I made more money than her. Me. So, I need to know, how can we make sure my wife doesn't get alimony? I own a plumbing business, and I make a little over 6 figures. Lawyer. There are a few strategies we can consider. First, alimony is not automatic. It depends on several factors, like the length of the marriage, her financial situation, and whether she can support herself. How long were you married? Me. About 6.5 years. Lawyer. That's long enough for her to request some form of spousal support, but it doesn't mean she'll get it. If she's working and making a reasonable income or has the ability to do so, we can argue that she doesn't need alimony. Does she have a job? Me. Yes, she's a paralegal for a big firm and she's having an affair with her boss. Lawyer. That helps our case. Courts consider whether she has the ability to be self-sufficient. If she's capable of working and hasn't made efforts to do so, we can push back on any claims for long-term support. I'm so sorry any of the infidelity, but you're a man. Keep it together. Don't let her or anyone ever see you weak. Me. What if she argues that she's used to a certain lifestyle? Lawyer. That's a common argument, but lifestyle alone isn't enough. We can show that she has the skills or education to support herself, and if she refuses to work, that's her choice. Plus, in many states, short-term marriages, anything under 10 years, are less likely to result in long-term alimony. Me. Okay, and what about my business? Can she go after that? Lawyer. That depends on how the business is structured and whether it was started before or during the marriage. If it existed before, it's mostly separate property, though any increase in value during the marriage could be argued as marital property. However, if we can prove that she didn't contribute to the business, financially or otherwise, she wouldn't have a strong claim. Me. That's good. And I don't have to worry about child support since we don't have kids. Things should all work in my favor, right? Lawyer. Exactly. Since there are no children involved, there's no child support obligation. I'm confident you'll get justice. That simplifies things significantly. Me. So bottom line, what's our best argument to make sure she doesn't get alimony? Lawyer. Our best approach is to show that she's capable of earning her own income, that the marriage was not long enough to warrant significant support, and that she didn't contribute to your business or financial success. If we can establish those points, we have a strong case to minimize or eliminate any alimony obligations. Me. Sounds good. Let's move forward with that strategy. Me. So, can we go after my wife's boss for this? Get him fired? Lawyer. Possibly, but we need to be strategic. If we push for that now, it could impact your divorce proceedings. Me. How so? Lawyer. If your wife loses her job because of this, she could argue for alimony, claiming financial hardship. We need to finalize the divorce first. Me. Makes sense. So once the divorce is done, what can we do? Lawyer. That depends on his company's policies. If they have a strict policy against workplace affairs, we could report it. If he's in a leadership role, it could be a bigger issue. Me. And if they don't have a policy? Lawyer. There are other angles, ethical concerns, reputational damage, or even leveraging it if he has a contract with a morality clause. We'll look into it when the time is right. Me. So, first, finalize the divorce. Make sure she doesn't get alimony, then we go after him. Lawyer. Exactly. Timing is key. If we play this right, we get the best outcome for you. So, someone that my lawyer uses. Served my ex-wife in court. This was before the court started, but he got inside, and the judge wasn't happy, but allowed him to serve my ex. I spoke with the guy who served my ex. He said the judge was speaking with both lawyers and others before anyone was even allowed into the courtroom. He said the judge yelled out, "Sir, who are you, and why are you in my courtroom?" He told the judge who he was and said he was there to serve my wife divorce papers. The judge was pretty upset, but allowed it to happen. I was told that my wife started crying. I guess she couldn't believe I went through with filing for divorce. I didn't hear from her, and my lawyer kept in touch with her lawyer, and she wasn't even trying for alimony. She wanted us to stay married. We had our temporary hearing, and my wife's lawyer indeed tried to argue for counseling, but the judge didn't let it fly. I was eventually granted what I needed, a divorce, but it wasn't over. It was time to take the trash out. I needed my ex and my ex's boss terminated. My lawyer explained to me how he was going to do it. Me. Now that the divorce is finalized, it's time to take the next step. I want my ex-wife and her boss to face consequences for what they did. Lawyer. I understand your frustration, and I want to make sure we proceed strategically. While personal betrayal is painful, we need to focus on legal and ethical violations. Me. Her boss is a partner at the firm, and she was working under him. That has to be against company policy, right? Lawyer. Likely yes. Many law firms have strict rules against relationships between superiors and subordinates due to conflicts of interest and potential liability. If they violated firm policy, there could be internal consequences for both of them. Me. But I want more than just internal discipline. This wasn't just a workplace affair. It broke up my marriage. Lawyer. I understand, but personal relationships themselves aren't typically grounds for legal action unless they directly break laws or professional ethics codes. However, in this case, there's a significant issue. Attorneys are held to strict ethical standards. Me. What do you mean? Lawyer. In most jurisdictions, lawyers are prohibited from engaging in relationships that create conflicts of interest, and sleeping with a married colleague, especially when one is in a position of power, can raise serious ethical concerns. If her boss was directly overseeing her work, there could be grounds for a complaint with the state bar. Me. So, he could actually lose his law license over this? Lawyer. Potentially. If the affair compromised client interests, created favoritism in the firm, or involved any coercion, it could be seen as a violation of professional conduct rules. A complaint to the state bar could trigger an investigation. If he's found guilty of misconduct, disciplinary action could range from a reprimand to suspension, or even disbarment in extreme cases. Me. What about my ex-wife? Lawyer. If she knowingly participated in an unethical relationship that violated firm policies, she could face termination or disciplinary measures. However, unless she was in a position of power or engaged in misconduct beyond the affair, the consequences for her might be less severe than for her boss. Me. So, what's the next step? Lawyer. We start by gathering evidence, emails, texts, firm policies, anything that proves their relationship was inappropriate under workplace or legal standards. Then we decide whether to file a formal complaint with the firm, the state bar, or both. Me. Good. I want them held accountable. Lawyer. Then let's build the strongest case possible. Hearing this, I was so excited. Here's the thing. I still had my ex-wife's laptop at this time, so she ended up leaving the apartment and staying somewhere else, and she ended up leaving her old laptop because he had just bought a new one right before I filed for divorce. I had access to this laptop, and you are damn sure I went through it. I got everything. I had the text messages. I had emails. They were doing this from the beginning of her working at this firm. They were having an affair. She was sleeping with a married man. I had evidence that he was giving her a raise, showing favoritism. My lawyer reached out to other paralegals in the firm, and guess what? They were more than willing to participate in writing letters and saying how my ex-wife was highly favored, and now they all know why. Some had suspicions that she was sleeping with one of the married lawyers. Oh, I was so excited. My lawyer did exactly what he was supposed to do and what he said he'd do. I personally found my ex-wife's affair partner's wife on Facebook and gave her everything. She thanked me. November 2024, I learned that lawyer was let go from the firm and temporarily lost his license. Apparently, he gets it back. He has to do something to gain it back. My ex wife lost her job at the firm as well, and word of mouth gets around in that industry. She won't be getting hired anywhere. My older sister told me that I played my cards right and I did a good job. She told me not to end up in a situation like that again. I told her I won't. You have nothing to worry about. I hope my story is worthy enough to be on this channel. I wanted to share it because I just want men to know that it's just not worth it anymore. I've heard you say that on other stories. It's not worth it. It just isn't. 1 minute, she loves you and you're the best thing that ever happened to her. And that very next minute, she's texting another guy, saying how she can't wait to see him the next night. That's what actually happened. Reading through those text messages, I remember how we were just sitting there either having dinner or watching a movie, and she was on her phone. She was freaking texting him. If you all do decide to get into a relationship or marriage, monitor your wife or your girlfriend's phone. It's worth it.
Dude, you did the right thing, man. Like, by leaving her. I hear what you say. I love when you guys throw in the mistakes you made. You know, I missed this red flag and I missed that and I ignored this. It's important. And it shows some growth and just being honest. Like, hey, I messed up. I messed up and I know I messed up. Let me tell you what I did wrong. You know, because if you guys' intentions are to help someone, at least one person, you know, calling out your mistakes is helpful. You know, I'm glad you were able to get out of that divorce, and I'm glad you stuck it to him. You know, you got some revenge. You got some revenge. So salute to you, man. Thanks for sending in this story. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you want to send in a story, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. Here, I'll put it on the screen. That is truestorynation@gmail.com. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one.